Hi everyone, welcome. I usually try to take at least one trade per day. But since I haven't traded at all this week as much, I decided to take three trades today, Friday, kind of as a way to compensate for missing out. So I will split the three trades into two videos. The first part, which is this one, will contain the two losing trades, and then the next part, which is part two, will contain the winning trade. I will tie it all together with the importance of having a good risk and reward ratio within your strategy. And don't worry, it'll all make sense as I go along and explain the trades. Let's get to it. Okay, so on the first trade, if you notice here, you can definitely see an inverted head and shoulders pattern. So the stock was holding the support of 1270, and then it fell below it at some point. However, at 12 it surged up, breaking above 1270 once again, and then coming back, retesting that support at 1270, and essentially giving us that head and shoulders pattern with the inverted shoulder, the inverted head, and the second inverted shoulder here. We're anticipating that move to break above 1370, which is that resistance of the first shoulder, inverted shoulder. So we threw out order 1365 in anticipation for that break, and it did break quite nicely with that huge surge volume. Compared to what was happening here, this volume was increasing. So now we're in the trade. And in hindsight, I could have thrown my order here at 1350, just 15 cents before 1365, in anticipation for that break of the second inverted shoulder. However, at that moment, I was so focused on that 1370 breakout area that I totally missed it in real time. This is all hindsight talk, right? So here it goes again, pulling back towards 1370, retesting that previously broken resistance, which is now a support. And our take profit target's at 1447, just 2 cents before 1449, which is another resistance there. And right here we're thinking, oh wow, nice, we have a winning trade. Wrong. There's a lot of sellers up there as well. I believe around 1435 is where we get a bunch of sellers as well. 1440 as well. We're chilling, we're just in the trade, thinking, okay, I mean, it's going in our direction, we're almost there, come on, just push a few more cents, just a few more cents, dude, come on, just a few more cents. I mean, it wasn't a bad trade, it just lost its fumes after a while of hitting so much resistance. And at some point we'll see a large bid pop up. After it pulls back here. So it pulls back all the way back close to our entry point. Thinking, okay, that's a support area, it's gonna retest that support once again. Darn, we don't want it to break under. But what does it do? Testing again, 1370. And there it goes, breaking under. However, notice there, large bid. And you'll see it grow at 1350. Large buyers there. So that's good. It's kind of helping us prop up the price there. You'll see it come back. Now they're at 1360. Now they're at 1350 as well. We're feeling pretty safe with those large bids above our stop. Notice how the bid is kind of increasing there. Slowly increasing. 1350 again, large bid. It's getting bigger. 5800. Now it's back at 1370s. And back to 1350. I don't know if it breaks below that 1350, it might flush down. Now that bid is 36,000. 36,000. We're like, okay, that's a humongous bid. Unless it's a short seller trying to cover his or her position. That bid is definitely a buy order. And so we should be fine. Now that bid is at 37,000. Now it's at 34. So it's kind of grinding there. It's in that range of 1350 and 1370. It's not good. We need to see it break above 1370 again, for which happens there. We're like, okay, we're finally going back up again. Now we're noticing a decrease in volume there, in selling volume. So we're thinking, okay, this 1 minute should be buying volume coming in. However, you notice there on the 5 minute, there's a doji, a red doji, meaning that there's definitely indecision within that price. In that battle, the sellers eventually won. So that was the first trade. Now let's look at the second losing trade. Now the second trade was a rather quick loss. Notice here the trend for the lows was kind of semi-ascending. So it was bouncing off that support. It surged up towards the VWAP, got rejected back down. So we drew that ascending support after this high, and then when it came back down here, it respected that ascending support, and we also drew a descending resistance, which was being broken out of at that moment. And so we were not going to enter the trade simply because it broke above the descending resistance. We were going to wait for it to break above this pivot here at 585. However, based on the previous trade, the first trade, losing trade, I thought, okay, perhaps I'll throw out my order maybe a few cents earlier than I should, right? So that's exactly what happened. And my idea was, okay, I'll have my take profit right below the VWAP. And I start seeing more green. And the fact that it's holding, there's a lot of green there as well. It's holding the 70s, 75s. We're anticipating that break of 585. Large seller at 575 there, 19K. Now it's, notice how the ask is kind of at 575, it's decreasing. The spread is 4 cents. A lot of green coming in. 575, 576, 577, 579. I'm thinking, okay, broke that large ask at 575. So and on that 1 minute, there is a small red doji. Boom, we add 581 in anticipation for that break above 585. However, that break never came. It tried to. Weakly, like very weak. It tried to break above it and it totally failed and stopped us out there.
Come on, man.
Oh, that's a fast way to lose money there. And I don't know, the stock just kind of wiggled on the side, and we traded this one for a winning trade afterwards, but this was later in the morning, and we will see it on the part 2. So stay tuned for part 2, folks.